Hey everybody, my name's Daryl Obert. I'd like to welcome you back to Maya Mondays. Today we're going to be looking at textures inside of Maya. So I've got two tips and tricks for you today. So this is pretty standard, right? You get a piece of geometry, you got a folder full of images you want to apply to that piece of geometry, and how are you going to approach that? Well, inside of Maya, normally what you do is you'd go and you'd start mapping each one of these channels with the given texture map that was generated for it. So it takes some time to click through. You got to find them on your drive, and you go through the mapping process for each channel. So that's kind of the standard Maya workflow that most people are used to. So my tip is to actually just go to the texture tab, pull up your file browser, grab all the images that you want to associate with that chip, and just simply drag and drop them in. So just like that, in a matter of seconds, I've now imported in all the file textures associated with this file. And it's much faster than going through each button and saying file browse, file browse, file browse. Now all I have to do is just simple drag and drop to make these connections. So it's a lot quicker. So the next thing that I want to talk about really quickly are swatches inside of Maya. So when we're looking at this right now, we're not really seeing any images that represent or any icons that represent anything meaningful for the images that we brought in. And the reason that happens is these are all relatively large texture maps. Maya has a preference that you can set that specifies the size of image that would generate a swatch. So anything smaller than this preference will generate a swatch. Obviously anything larger than the preference you have set won't generate a swatch. And the reason we're doing that is for performance. Imagine if you had, like 32K textures and you were trying to down-res all those guys into little thumbnails, it would become quite a performance bottleneck. So that's why we have this max res swatch threshold that we can set in the preferences. One of the things that's kind of cool about Maya is if you want to override any of these texture maps and you have a swatch generated for them, even though they're larger than the max res that was set, all you have to do is just simply right mouse click on it and say refresh swatch. And let's actually reswatch that guy. By doing that, you can see that it goes through and it goes and generates the swatch for it, even though that it was a texture map that was larger than the preference that we had set. So you can do the refresh swatch on shader balls also. So one last thing that I want to mention is that drag and drop that I did from a Windows browser or from an OS-based browser, you can do the same thing for Maya binary files. So you can drag and drop those into the Maya viewport, either to open a new scene or to import a scene. So a couple of tips and tricks for you there. Hopefully you guys will tune in next Monday and we'll be talking about something a little bit different. Take it easy.